Welcome into Cavaliers Live, presented by Wayside Furniture. Well, a tough night for Cleveland here at Rocket Arena. The Rockets led for most of this game. The Cavaliers kept it close in that second half, but Houston pulls away for a 10-point victory here tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome in courtside here at Rocket Arena alongside Mr. Cavalier, Austin Carr, and Amon Shumpert. I'm Kaylee Griffin. It's the Rockets with a 114-104 victory here tonight. And guys, we talked about it all pregame. We knew this one was going to be tough for the Cavaliers. Houston brought it on both ends of the floor. AC, I'll start with you. What stood out to you about how Houston was able to really take control of this game?
Well, in the first quarter, their defense was stifling for the Cavs because without Garland, we have nobody that can penetrate and beat you off the dribble other than Donovan, and they had a good game plan to double-team Donovan, and that slowed the Cavs up to where they had to think about what they were doing instead of just reacting.
Yeah, Mom, what were your biggest takeaways in terms of Houston really quieting Donovan Mitchell down up until that fourth quarter?
I think Donovan fell for the bait. I think they showed an early shell and showing as many bodies as they could and driving angles to discourage him from being aggressive. And by the time he showed out to be unaggressive, I think they did a steady diet of making sure that they exhausted the dribble. They changed sides of the floor. And when they got down here, they made sure Donovan got rid of it, didn't get it back. Came off a ball screen, saw a trap, saw different coverages, kept him uncomfortable. I think he just realized at the end there, I need to get some shots up and started forcing some stuff, which made some things happen. But as you saw throughout the game, he never really had a rhythm.
Well, at halftime, the Rockets led by 17, but the Cavaliers did find a little something in that third quarter as we take a look back now. It was Cleveland that outscored Houston 30-17 in that frame. They ended that quarter on a 23-5 run and cut it to 4 by the end of the third quarter. Austin, what was different about their approach after halftime?
Their approach was going to the basket, staying in that paint. And they lived in that paint in that third quarter. And it really, it made their defense better. They started being more aggressive on defense. They're attacking. And that really caused the Rockets a lot of problems. But they did more inside in that third quarter.
Amon, Evan Mobley had 8 points in the quarter. Lonzo added 7, and Craig Porter Jr. 6 points, 2 blocks, a rebound, and an assist. How did those guys kind of fuel that pseudo comeback that we saw in the third?
I think they did a great job of coming together as a team and making sure they got stops. They got stops, they got rebounds, and they got out and ran on the fast break. I think we saw Porter Jr. do the most as far as bringing energy, bringing a spark, and making it be contagious. We usually see that out of Tomlin. And though he wasn't able to do that, he still comes out here. They play hard. It ignites and it becomes contagious. And when you can have 5 or 10 guys playing the same way and playing aggressive together, you can be in any game. I just think they ran out of gas as far as that when they got into the fourth quarter. And then they started to rely on the 3-ball just too much.
Yeah.
I think at times we say the thing that we were talking about, AC, we want to live and die sometimes, but it's like, it sucks when you die by the 3. You know what I mean? Like when
it's
it
just
seems
an
like,
ugly feeling.
Yeah, when it seems like there's a lid on the rim, I just wish, after 2 or 3 threes, they would have put their head down and just attack, try and get into somebody's body and get to the free throw line, calm everything down. I thought Houston got the better of them in that category.
Yeah, this is our Make Them Pay moment presented by Tim Misney as we take a look at the fourth quarter. And Austin, I know you have talked about this time and time again when it comes to the Cavaliers. They got to establish that paint presence, especially against a team like Houston that is so physical and so big inside. You knew that they were going to look to attack the paint. They did a lot of driving and dishing. That's why they are the best 3-point percentage team in the NBA. What do you need to see more of from Cleveland in terms of not settling for the 3-ball? As Kenny Atkinson has said, he wants to see more of an adjustment when it comes to shot attempts.
Looking to be more aggressive inside. I mean, you could look at Houston, where they play. They always start out getting somebody in that paint. And then once the paint comes, now you have to double team somebody, and you're going to leave the weak side open, and they swing that ball, and there's always the long, tall Kevin Durant over that side waiting for you to come over there, and he's 7 foot tall with a nice little easy shot. But you when you start inside, that is where you force a team to have to make some major adjustments, because then, and Shump, you know this, when you get the ball on the perimeter and somebody's coming to you, you know exactly what's in front of you and where to go, even if you don't have the shot.
Attacking closeouts.
Instead of the other way around, it's just tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cavaliers attempting 15 more threes than the Rockets did here tonight. Obviously, we saw some of those come in the first half, but especially down the stretch of the fourth quarter. Amon, let's talk a little bit more about Donovan Mitchell. You brought up that he maybe fell for the bait a little bit, and yep. I imagine that is what Houston's game plan was going into tonight's game, knowing how absolutely dominant Donovan has been. Yet again, he has the ability to flip that switch in that final frame. What does that tell you about his ability and how he has to, or if learn is the right word, but how he needs to approach some of these games in terms of attacking differently throughout fourth quarter?
Well, luckily for him, he knows that he has another ball handling playmaker coming as soon as he gets Darius Garland back. So there should be some comfort for him there. But when we talk about Donovan Mitchell and taking the next step after this, I think he got to see finally a coach go with a game plan that might have been just for him. Yeah. I don't know if this game plan was for the Cavs entirely.
Right.
I think this game plan was more so for him. And when you see something like that, it changes the dynamic of a game. Now, you don't want to take the bait and start shooting yourself in the foot and shooting just anything. You don't want to shoot bad shots. But I think I need Donovan Mitchell to understand you took the bait in giving the ball up and then not being aggressive for the rest of the possession. You need to find a way to come off of the screen, find a way to find the defense falling asleep, get a cut, get something going where you can make plays if it's not points. But I think Donovan Mitchell did a lot of standing around tonight, taking the bait from whatever aggressive defense they had planned for him.
Let's hear now from Houston Rockets head coach Ime Udoka on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, one of the best scorers in the league, obviously, and the reason we went after him like we did tonight was to kind of make other guys prove it, and he did a really good job in the first half, 1 for 7, 2 points. You know he's going to be more aggressive coming out, and he did that in the third quarter, and then we kind of got him back under wraps in the fourth, going after him, but a lot of times we're putting 2 on the ball, going after him, blitzing him, and our guys did a pretty good job rotating. He split a few and got loose in the third on some one-on-ones, but much lesser night than he's had. 21, he's, averaging 30 and had some really big games. And so I think the first half was what we wanted, and we got it back under wraps in the fourth.
There you hear clearly the game plan from the Houston Rockets coming into tonight's game, knowing how dominant Donovan Mitchell was trying to stifle him, and they did a really good job of that up until that fourth quarter. AC, let's talk a little bit about the defense we saw here tonight, because that has been a focal point of where this team has looked to continue to adjust. Again, the Houston Rockets come in with the best offense in the NBA. The Cavaliers held them to 114 points here tonight. You see the shooting percentages down quite a bit as well. What did you make of the defensive effort on the Cavaliers side?
It was a little sporadic because it didn't come on a consistent basis. But when they were in a good flow on the defensive end of the floor, they did well to get themselves back in the ball game, because for a minute there it was looking like it was going to be a blowout. But they did a good job defensively, individually and team-wise, to get back in the game.
Yeah, I thought our second group did a great job.
Right.
Sometimes you see it get a little bumpy on the road. Yeah. And, as a second group, your job is usually just keep the train on the tracks. Mm-hmm. But I thought the second group did a good job of not only keeping the train on the tracks, but making soft pushes. And sometimes they're not going to be able to bring you all the way back, but their job is to get you back in the game, get you into striking distance until your guys get back in the game. I think the bench did their job tonight. They played with energy. They played together. They tried to do as much as they could. It's just the starting group came out there and they had a lid on the rim. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, right. Certainly does. Second half from the Cavaliers showed a little bit more fight, but ultimately it's the Rockets coming away with a 114-104 victory here tonight. When we return, we're going to hear from head coach Kenny Atkinson, so keep it here. Welcome back into Cavaliers Live, presented by Wayside Furniture. It's the Rockets coming away with a 10-point victory here tonight. DeAndre Hunter, one of 4 Cavaliers in double figures. He led the way with 25 points. Let's head to the podium and hear more from him.
I can't say I left shots out there. I just try to pick my spots where, I can be aggressive and also be a facilitator as well. Seeing the shot total, I probably could have shot more, but I feel like they probably would have been forced.
When you look at the free throw numbers for you guys overall this season, you guys continuously get down to the fourth quarter, 10 points, 8 points, but sometimes you have missed 8 or 10 free throws as well. What do you think about that and how that can change games?
We need those free throws. There's a lot of games, like you said, like tonight, and some games that we won, that we could have a bigger lead or we could be in the game even more. So It's just something we got to work on individually. That's not really a team thing. And, we just got to be better in that area.
Kenny said that he wanted to get you in the lineup with some of the twos just to get you a little bit more of the looks and a different feel. How did you feel like that worked out playing with some of the guys off the bench?
I think I would need a game or two just to really, see what it's like. This is my first time with a different kind of rotation, so I don't really have an answer for that right now.
Jim? DeAndre, it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but they play a lot of two big lineups. They're the best offensive rebounding team. Maybe I would have looked super far back, but at least since like 2000. You guys play two bigs a decent amount of time. You guys are, I think, 17 rebounding right now. Why do you think those lineups aren't giving you guys the rebounding boost?
I would just say I think our bigs are a little different. Av spaces the floor a lot. They have Steven Adams and Sengun there in the paint, probably majority of the game. So Av's not naturally under the basket as much as them. So I feel like, I think that's the easiest difference that I could see.
But going back to the free throws, can that be indicative of focus? How do you guys explain that?
Like I said, it's just the individual thing. Free throws is not really something that, I can control. The next person is kind of just, I don't know what's going through their head and, what they're thinking at the free throw line. But it's definitely something we have to improve on if we want to get to where we want to go and, win games like this.
Yeah. DeAndre tonight finished with 25 points. He went 6 of 11 from the floor. He knocked down 5 triples, grabbed 4 rebounds, dished out 2 assists. A little bit of everything for Hunter. Amon, it's his 5th time scoring 20 or more this season. What did you see from him tonight?
I thought I saw him just be consistent in what he's been doing. Take the shots that come to him. He's aggressive when he needs to be aggressive. He exhausts the dribble. He gets to that 2-foot shot right there at the top of the key or in the paint. I thought he played a pretty good ball game. I just think they weren't close enough at the end for him to roll over and us see something special tonight.
Shump, I'm looking at when I watch him play, you can tell he's used to being one of the main scorers.
Yeah.
So when you have that type of attitude, you have to get him involved in the offense earlier.
Right.
Get him going. Yeah. And that's what I see with DeAndre right now. If the Cavs are going to have him be one of the top 3 or 4 scorers in that starting unit, you got to get him the ball. And he's not a guy that has to have it on the perimeter. He will take it inside. Yeah. And I like that about him.
Well, he's wanted that responsibility. He told Kenny Atkinson before the season, I want to be in that starting lineup. I want to be a part of this. So he's taken that on.